Welcome back to ADHD Whiskey. My name is Matt, and today we're talking about a bunch more whiskeys that should exist but don't. But before we get into the list of whiskeys that should exist but don't, let's first talk about today's video sponsor, the best clothing company on the planet and beyond. Into the AM. IntoTheAM.com is your home on the internet for the best clothing possible. They have graphic tees like this Spaceman DJ. They have basic tees and V-neck tees. They have jogger pants and underpants and hoodies and friggin' bomber jackets. They have everything that your body would need to look great. We're currently in the middle of designing an ADHD Whiskey Into the AM collaboration shirt, so look for that. But in the meantime, go to intotheam.com/ADHD, use code ADHD at checkout, and save 10% off your order. So thank you Into the AM for sponsoring this video, and thank you, the viewers, for supporting the people who support the channel. Now that we've talked about Into the AM, let's talk about some whiskeys that don't exist but definitely should. First, I think we should start with some Brown-Forman products, and to be extra specific, let's go directly to Old Forester. Old Forester single barrels are like not anything new. They've been around for quite a while, and the Old Forester single barrels used to come in the 90 proof varietal, and then they dropped the 90 proof version and went straight to barrel strength, because that's what the people demanded, and a 100 proof offering. But the barrel strength is just too hot. The barrel strength is just too hot of a bugger. It's a little too much. The 100 proof variety, really good. Better than the 90 proof for sure. But is there a sweet spot somewhere in the middle? I think that there might be. I think that there possibly could be a sweet spot in the Old Forester single barrel lineup that we just haven't tapped into yet. So what do I suggest? How about a pick your own proof system? I'd just love to see Old Forester single barrels somewhere between 100 proof and barrel strength, but whatever tastes the best to the barrel picker. Come on, give us some variety. 105, 110, 115, 120. Come on, give us a little bit of wiggle room. We just need a little bit of wiggle room to find the best proof. Give it to us. Come on, do it. I know that's probably not gonna happen, so I'm gonna give up on that. But while we're talking about Old Forester, let's talk about another Old Forester whiskey that should exist but doesn't, but also sort of does. Have you ever heard of Old Forester 1920? How about Old Forester 1910? Oh, you have? So have I. Some people got the bright idea to mix them together, and guess what they came up with? Old Forester 1915. It's a mixture 50-50, Old Forester 1920 and Old Forester 1910. Is it the best whiskey on the planet? No, but it's darn good, and it probably should exist. I know that 1915 is just like the middle point between 1920 and 1910 and doesn't serve any historical value or whatever, but at the same time, does it really need to, or can we just have a little bit of fun? I'm all about fun, in and out of the bedroom. But Old Forester 1915 is definitely a bottle that does not exist that you can buy anyway. You can make one, but definitely should. Just saying. Will we come back to Brown-Forman later in the video? Oh yeah, we will. But let's stray away from there for a minute to talk about a different whiskey company that should make a product that they currently don't. If we're talking about some of my favorite bourbons that I just love to go to and sip on and really, really enjoy, especially if it's like, I don't know, a Tuesday or Wednesday or Thursday or Monday or Friday or Sunday or Saturday, you know, one of those very specific days, one of the bourbons that I absolutely love is Rebel 10-Year. Rebel 10-Year is a single barrel, it's 100 proof, it's a wheated bourbon and 10 years old minimum. It's from Lux Row, but apparently they source from Heaven Hill. That's what the word on the street is anyway. What would I change about Rebel 10? I wouldn't change the age. The age is great. It's perfect for a wheated bourbon. What I would change, however, is maybe just a tweak of the proof. Just a tweak of the proof. One of the most famous wheated bourbons on the planet, Janet, is Weller Antique 107. So if I were Lux Row and produced a 10-year-old Rebel product, guess what I would do? Bump that baby up a few notches. Rebel 10-Year 107? Sign me up for seconds, thirds, and fourths. Please, sir, could I have some more? And if the answer is no, then I'll find somebody to steal it from. Because Rebel 10-year single barrel 107 sounds like a glorious whiskey that should exist but doesn't. Son of a bee. Kind of feel like I'm in the zone right now talking about weeded bourbons, and I don't think I should get out of the zone. I think I should probably stick to it. So while I'm complaining about weeded bourbons that kind of exist but don't, Larceny Barrel Proof. Larceny Barrel Proof has its hits and misses. Most of them are big whiffers though. There have been a couple batches that some people are like, that's a great batch, but just not quite there yet. What makes the difference between this Heaven Hill barrel strength Larceny and a Rebel 10-year Lux Row product, weeded bourbon that's supposedly sourced from Heaven Hill? The age. That's what it boils down to. They say that the Larceny Barrel Proof is between 6 and 8 years old, but I'm like sitting here thinking, let's make it 10. Come on, let's put a 10-year-old age statement on there. Let's slap a 10-year-old age statement on this Larceny Barrel Proof and act like we mean business. Because if we do mean business, then a 10-year-old age statement is the business I'd want to be in. Especially when it comes to weeded bourbon that seems to age a little bit slower than stuff that has some rye in it. It just doesn't mature quick enough, and you get all the Heaven Hill nuttiness on a lot of these Larceny Barrel Proofs that are kind of aged out as it gets into the 10-year range. So, a whiskey that does not exist, but definitely should. Larceny Barrel Proof 10-year. The Wild Turkey Distillery is known for their 101 proof products, the Wild Turkey 101 and the Kentucky Spirit. In 2020, they released Wild Turkey Master's Keep 17-year bottled and bond. But after that release was over, Wild Turkey doesn't have a bottled and bond product anymore. And since Wild Turkey is popular for the 101 proof, they're obviously not going to make a 100 proof bottled and bond Wild Turkey. But what they friggin' could do, and what they friggin' should do, is take this bottle, Russell's Reserve 10-year, and turn that baby up a notch from 90 proof to 100. Russell's Reserve 10-year bottled and bond, 100 proof Russell's 10-year. It's like Henry McKenna, but from a better distillery. Know what I'm saying? Will they make less money on it if they bump it to 100 proof? Yes, if they keep the price the same. Would I expect them to keep the price the same? No, absolutely not. Bump it up 10 proof points, slap a bottled and bond sticker on Russell's 10, notch up the price a few buckaroos. Nobody will care. We'll all swarm toward it like it's Thanksgiving and we want a turkey. Russell's Reserve 10-year bottled and bond, a whiskey that does not exist, but should. Now, like I said before, I'm not necessarily technically a whiskey consultant, but I feel like I'm sort of consulting for free right now, and that is a very, very valuable thing to some companies because maybe they've never thought of these things. And of course they have. Who are we kidding? They have just ignored these things. But I'm here as a whiskey consumer working totally free from me to you, the distilleries. This is what we want. This is what we want. And if we can't have it, we will throw a fit and we will not go to bed tonight. Fulfilling our every need is the key to your success. And speaking of keys, Blade & Bow Cask Strength is probably a whiskey that we would all love to see, but doesn't exist for some weird reason. Blade & Bow was just sitting around here at 91 proof, being like, unlock me with your keys. But the key to our happiness is maybe not 91 proof, but a bit higher. And I've never heard anybody say that before, but now that I've said it out loud, everybody will be like, yeah, Matt, that makes sense. Come on, you're Stitzel Weller. The 91 proof varietal is friggin' good. It's pretty friggin' good. But guess what? We're not all about just being good. We want to be the best, don't we? Pretend like I'm your coach and we're in the locker room at halftime and we're losing poorly. We're just losing. And it's like, hey, What are we gonna do? And then I'm like, listen, this is what we're gonna do. We're not gonna sit around and just let them win. We're not gonna sit around and half-ass it. We're not gonna sit around and be 91 proof. No, the consumer, and that is the other team, is being a real biatch. Well, you know what, Matt, just shut up. Blade and bow cask strength. Do it or I will do it myself. How will I do that myself? You don't even want to know. You don't even want to know. But trust me, I have a plan. I don't. America. Not high enough proof. Let's move on to the final 2 bottles in this video that don't exist but should. If they did exist, they would be products of Lynchburg, Tennessee. This particular distillery series releases their pecan finished whiskey. But I have 2 ideas for Jack Daniel's distillery series releases, which are kind of like, I don't know, they're experimental stuff. The first distillery series release I would love to see from Jack Daniel's inside one of these 375 milliliter bottles at the White Rabbit gift shop. The first one I'd like to see is Jack Daniel's Straight Tennessee Whiskey Barrel Strength, dun, 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 non-charcoal mellowed. That's like a Jack Daniel's bourbon then. That's right. Jack Daniel's Barrel Strength Bourbon. What does Jack Daniel's Barrel Strength Bourbon taste like if it doesn't go through the charcoal mellowing process? I have no idea. Do you know? No, you don't. Unless, of course, you work at Jack Daniel's and you've tried it. In which case, hook a brother up. And by brother, I mean me. We're not saying that we want Jack Daniel's to stop charcoal mellowing their product, but we just want to taste what it tastes like if it weren't charcoal mellowed. And super sorry if that's blasphemy for the Jack Daniel's distillery. Please don't disown me. I still love you. I'm just a curious bugger. I am non-charcoal mellow curious. And the second release from Jack Daniel's distillery series that I would be super interested in tasting if they had it, since Jack Daniel's has their own cooperage, all of their whiskey is like aged in Jack Daniel's barrels from their cooperage. What I want to know is, what in the heck does Jack Daniel's taste like if it were aged in barrels not made by Jack Daniel's? How about Kelvin Cooperage collaboration? Jack Daniel's aged in a Kelvin Cooperage barrel, char 4, whatever, no big deal. What would that taste like? I want to know so hard. So those 2 Jack Daniel's distillery releases are 2 bottles that don't exist, but should. Again, let me know if you agree with this list, if you disagree with this list, what you think of this list, and how much you love me. And other than that, I don't know. What did I miss? Leave it in the comments below. What are whiskeys that should exist but don't? There's no way I got them all. There's no way I got them all. Thank you for watching. Thank you Into the AM for sponsoring this video. Thank you for hitting the subscribe button. My name is Matt. This is ADHD Whiskey, and like I always say, keep your head in the clouds but your mind on not wearing electronic devices into a hot springs pool, because I wore my Fitbit into the hot springs pool in Glenwood Springs here in Colorado, and you know, Fitbit says that their watches are like, you know, they can like submersible up to so many feet, but what I found out was not in a hot springs pool. I'm not sure if it was the sulfur or the heat or just the minerals or a mixture of everything, but the entire face of my watch lifted off. And I was like, I'm gonna get fat again. I don't even know why I told you that story. I'm sorry. That was a bad story to tell. But if any of you have a Fitbit and you're going to a hot springs pool, maybe this little PSA, public service announcement, PSA will help you. And if it doesn't help you, then may God help you. If you believe in God. And if you don't believe in God, then may God help you. Or whatever.